Coming back to the exercise and some of the props involved, 3 chairs, each chair's got a label on. The first chair could be teacher, but behind that label will be another one called friend. Central chair, storyteller. Behind that label, homeostasis. Behind that label, friend. Third chair, pupil, and behind that, friend. The invitation to the theatre, what we like to call it, would bear the name of the presentation, and at the back would be the interpretation of various works or books, etc., that the whole presentation is based upon, like Lynn Hoffman, Maturana, Lynn Cronin Context, Bates and Time, Space, Maturana's Dance, The Music of Time, Shakespeare, quotations, Bible, the story, Garden of Eden, etc., etc., etc. Those would probably be the likely conditions you find printed on the back of ticket to travel, like anything like that. And then they'd have to be informed that there were certain rules or regulations about taking responsibility for themselves. Presenter would take responsibility for himself. That within the context of it being a theatre, there'd be certain roles played, and they might be involved in those roles. But they wouldn't be told what roles they were playing, although it may become apparent to them later. This would probably relate to the work around illusions, about turning illusions into reality, and reality back into illusions. One of the role plays possibly around the situation wherein Linda spoke to me about her friend, how she didn't want her for a friend because of what action she'd taken, and I had been very angry about that. Did something which was intended to be symmetrical, but turned out to be complementary, and perhaps ask them to look at how and why that worked, and what was the context that I held the time that I said that, and what was the meaning that I gave to that message, and what was Linda's context that she saw herself and me in, and therefore what was the meaning she gave to the message when she received it, and move that on to how then the message became a positive connotation, because although it was intended as negative, it turned out positive for certain reasons, and that was perhaps something to do around with the fact that her context changed around the meaning she'd given to her original ideas relating to what her friend had done, how that changed from being a negative thing to a positive thing. So that would help to do with that one. the other role play, the people would have to have roles, and they would have to split into groups, minimum of 2, the maximum doesn't matter. What would be intended was that one person would act one role and another role, and the role perhaps would be that they just have to be themselves, but I would be the person who would actually dictate what the message would be that one would have to give to the other, and the message would be conveyed by touch rather than by language, but that's another form of language. Now, to do this, 2 people would sit opposite each other. One would become very relaxed, perhaps sit back, close their eyes, get into a very relaxed position and drift off, perhaps just not go to sleep, but think of things that made them relax, ideas they had about drifting away or sleeping, being away on a beach somewhere. The other person to sit opposite them, both to place their arms perhaps on their knees, but spaced up 2 or 3 feet apart. The one who would be relaxed to sit there and allow somebody to do something to them. The other would sit opposite, and they would be the agent to do something. Now they would be conveying a message to them by touch, and the message they wouldn't know what it was going to be, but I would have written down that message, and it would be probably 6 words, very simple message, something like I love, I care, I'm here.